You're listening to a Time Machine podcast. Old Movie Time Machine. An adventure through time and or space. Hello everybody and welcome back to Old Movie Time Machine. This is the show in which we watch color motion picture films made in the old US of A between the years of 1945 and 1965 as windows into the past. We throw these windows open, we climb through the window, and we explore the world and the people in that world beyond the window. And while we do this, we ask ourselves some critical questions, such as, these people that we're meeting beyond the window, who are these people? What are their habits? How are they treating each other? What decisions are they making, and why are they making them? And, inarguably, the most important part, what are they wearing, and what do their living rooms look like? And then at the end of the show, we climb back through the window to modern times, and we ask and answer the final, vital, ultimate question on behalf of all of humanity here in the early 21st century, which is, you guys, this movie that we just watched, and the world beyond the window, exploring, probing questions, all of this, do we keep watching this thing? Is this one that we're going to keep sharing with children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren and great-great-grand, all the way down there? They're going to share it with all of theirs as well? Is this an heirloom that we keep nicely preserved for generations to come? Or is it refuse that we must pitch into a bin? We will find out. I'm your host, by the way, through time and or space, Justin Zeppa, joined as ever by my panel of international experts at being human in the early 21st century, and also, I leave this out sometimes, but it's not on purpose, you guys, I promise you, the smartest people that I know. Starting on my right today, bizarre, we're at her house, Katherine Sherlock. Katherine Sherlock. Katherine Sherlock. Welcome to the show. Anyway, sorry.
Hello.
Stepped on my own intro to you with my own voice.
In my house.
Totally pro. In your house, no less.
Welcome.
Thank you
Welcome to my
Thank you for hosting
abode.
us. Yes, we love it. And of course, your little buddy is here as well. We're not talking about Gilligan. We're talking about Solon. He's a handsome Mr. Catman.
Yes, he is.
And he will be popping on. He's got little cat headphones. And he's also got a little stack of poorly written notes because he doesn't have opposable thumbs. So he had to use his little paws to make his notes for today's movie. But to the right of Solon, you know her, you love her. Shrishma Naik is in the house. Hey, Shrishma, welcome to Catherine's house.
Hey, guys, happy Friday.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, it's Wednesday for the people at home,
Right.
but we're recording this on the Friday. We'll
That's what
peek
I
behind the curtain. And we are loving that it's Friday. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we are.
We are. We're going to sleep in tomorrow, right?
No.
Not you guys at home. Tomorrow's Thursday.
Right.
You got to go to work. I'm sorry.
Please go to work.
We're going to bed, though. I mean, later. Not right now. Not that kind of show. Guys, I got to get out of this intro. To your right and across the ocean, it's still, even if it was on your left and across the ocean, it's still across the ocean. Don't think about it too hard. My sister and yours, Carolyn Naoroz. Hey, sis. Pretty awful intro, huh?
Yeah, I'm so glad to be here, and your intro is,
Rocky,
a lot like this movie, left some things to be desired.
A little sweaty. Oh, the movie. Oh, you had to go and bring up today's movie. I see. We're talking about 1954's... Note to myself in the edit, I think it's 1954, but change it later if you need to. I think it's 54.
Sure.
3 coins in the fountain. You guys. Now, Catherine, you've been away for a little bit. You are so in love with the UK that you have to be there almost all the time. This was a running routine that we had while you were gone. But this month, as it is February currently, it's a time of romance, if you will. And today, it's quite literally a time of romance, if you know what I'm talking about. Because This month is themed for not just like a special Valentine's lovey-dovey thing, but it's love abroad. We're going to the continent and we are falling in love over there from the U.S. Americans abroad falling in love in Europe. It's it's some kind of concept. I'll leave it to the audience to categorize what kind. So far we have been to Paris, France. Funny face. Who could forget it, right? Unforgettable. Then we went to foggy London for a brief moment before heading over to Athens, Greece.
Right.
Today, we go to the great city of Italy. We're going to...
The great city
Rome.
of Italy?
We're going to Rome.
He was trying to make a joke.
It was on purpose. It's on purpose.
Okay, all right. I'm sorry.
I know. We are going to Italy, everybody. Yeah, okay, sure. Hey, clapping. Hey. So let's talk about if there's an arrow in this movie's quiver, it's the fact that we're getting glorious widescreen, Bausch and Lomb lensed CinemaScope glimpses of the fountains and the Forum and the Colosseum and all the Spanish Steps, all these landmarks of Rome in the 1950s, which is spectacular because, we love to bring her up. So we were talking about Audrey the other day, right? So, she came out in 1953 with Roman Holiday. This is the next year. Roman Holiday is in black and white, though. It is not even letterboxed, right. I believe it's a standard 4:3 ratio. I think it's a Paramount picture too. So maybe if that had been 20th Century Fox, they would have put some more cash into that. But anyway, the next year, somebody saw that and was like, oh, okay, Academy Awards in Rome. This is a great idea. Like, we need to do that right now. Let's crank it up. What do we call it? 3 coins in the fountain. Oh, speaking of, we're going to circle back to this now. 3 coins in the fountain. I contend, if only because I thought that the actual title was, until just this week, 3 coins in a fountain, which I think is smoother. What do you think? 3 coins in a fountain.
3 coins in the fountain.
3 coins in the fountain. Like, I get the fountain because it is Trevi Fountain.
Right.
But a fountain just seems smoother. If I was writing the lyrics, I'd swap that the out with an But Catherine, what do you think?
I don't think it makes any difference whatsoever. Still clunky as hell.
Do you should we workshop it a minute? I mean, what could it be? What's a better title?
Fountain of Boink.
Great workshop.
Honestly,
got it in
it would
one.
have been better
Nailed
if it was.
one.
I'm
well
in the
done.
wrong job.
Yes.
Love in the Eternal City. I mean, there's like lots of things they could have done.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Roman.
I guess let's just start talking about this. Let's get this over with, everybody.
Yeah.
No, you're going to enjoy the show. We're going to have a nice time talking about 3 coins in the fountain.
The fountain being,
Boink.
what was it again?
Trevi Fountain.
Trevi Fountain.
Yes.
Fountain of Trevi.
So we're opening with some incredible shots, afternoon type shots of various landmarks in Rome, including some fountains and some other fountains. I mean, they really leaned into the fountains here. They must have had the title first, is what I'm guessing. And they're like, you know what, guys, if we do one thing while we're on location, we must shoot the fountains. Like, if you see any kind of fountain, we're shooting them, because we get the whole spectrum of, sculptured guys hanging out in a pool to other sculptured guys hanging above a pool to sort of more of like a garden, multiple waterfall effect. Beautiful.
Did you get a picture of the fountain where it was coming out of the boobies?
I don't think so. What was I doing? That would be. Anyway, we got all these fountains, and we've got beautiful wide shots of Rome as it was in the mid 1950s. It looks very warm in these pictures too, I have to say. There's not a cloud in the sky. It's steamy in Rome. And here we are landing on the ultimate fountain of all fountains, the Fountain of Trevi, of course, where you go and you throw your coins. Hey, wait a minute, you guys. That sounds like it could be the name of a movie.
How many coins?
I don't know. 2 to 3 coins
Do you think they ever considered a coin in the fountain?
A coin in the fountain.
Coin in that, and that will just
Or 4 coins in the fountain.
Why 4?
But maybe they were thinking more, I don't know, a different number, but maybe they were thinking it was like Aladdin's magic lamp. You only get 3 wishes, so 3. And it's not like these love stories were like really in depth. I mean, this movie at the end here took a real sharp left turn. It was like, oh, okay, and it's over now.
Oh God,
What?
yeah, okay,
Yeah.
this is it. Oh, and everyone's happy.
The movie really gets going about an hour and 30 minutes into itself. That's when things really start to happen.
It's done.
And then it's over. So we open at the airport, though, by and large, and we see Maria Williams, a young woman from the United States, arriving. And just real quick here, as she is walking through what does appear to be the actual Roman airport, which these days is Da Vinci. I'm not sure what it was at this point, if that was the same or whatever. This one feels like it's right in town, though. Like she just landed, the car pulled up to pick her up, and then they were at their place in no time. But I did want to do a real quick hat index check because I can't help but notice that it's 1954. None of these Italians are wearing hats. Not a single one of them.
I think the Italians aren't wearing hats because it is very hot.
It's incredibly hot. But, well, they are wearing, some of them, 3-piece suits. So I don't know if that's the...
And sunglasses. There's a lot of sunglasses. So, I mean, I feel like... It's just not part of the vibe in Italy.
No, I think hat culture was not very much a thing, and maybe they had some hard times immediately after the war as well. Maybe beaver or rabbit or whatever you make a hat out of, maybe that was hard to come by at the time. One would assume that they probably used up all their beavers in the war. So anyway,
well, I also wonder if
No
it's
hats for
just
you.
more of a colder culture thing. So we think, they have fabulous hats in England. It's colder there.
Yeah, I mean, it could just be, just a total cultural difference. It is bizarre to see, though, to be in the 50s and not have a fedora or something like that. What's going on? It's crazy. Anyway, she gets picked up. This is Maria, of course. She gets picked up by Anita Hutchins, who tools around Rome in a nice blue convertible car that we see an awful lot of. There is an awful lot of parking in this movie because parking means that you're outside, and outside means that we're on location in Rome. So we might as well get as much of that as we can, you guys. So anytime they go anywhere, you're watching the car pull up and then park it and sometimes crash into the curb. We'll get to that point later. Anyway, Anita introduces herself. She spots this American right out of the gate, and she's like, "Hey, I'm Anita. Welcome to welcome to Italy. Welcome to the service. We all work in the same place. We are secretaries together. And I'm going to take you to our house/mansion that they all live in."
Is it clear what service they're working for?
Okay, so it's the U.S. Distribution Agency.
Okay.
The
UDA.
The USDA.
USDA.
Which is now the United States Dairy Association. So I don't know. Okay, so writing is involved. There's translation. There's news. Maybe it's some kind of news. Not a wire agency, but I don't know. It seems official because they have American seals, the eagle and all the arrows and all that shit. Those are up on the walls. But I don't quite know what the USDA of 1954 in Rome would be doing. But they are opening a lot of mail and probably answering a lot of phone calls is what I would guess. But apparently, so they go off to the Villa Eden, it's called, which is where local secretaries from the U.S. live together, apparently. And this is it's a mini palace. It's a grand old heap. I mean, this is a massive. Now, obviously, this is built on a soundstage, so it's going to be huge. But the idea that just some light clerical duties can get you a place with a living room like this.
Well, they have that conversation, didn't they?
Yes, they say that apparently the secretaries live very well in Rome. You can live very well.
I think, they get paid all right. And they mentioned about the exchange rate.
Based on the exchange. Right. That's right.
So I guess the lira was way down.
Yeah, that would make sense. So, yes, so they work for the USDA and they enjoy smoking and orange juice together before they go into work. We're having some nice brunching smoking here. Don't see an immediate ashtray, but there are lots of cups available.
But they're always smoking, though.
This is another smoke-heavy movie. Yeah, there's a lot of that. This is... Okay, wait, that's Anita. This is Maria.
How do you tell them apart?
This is a problem that I did have, which is Anita and Frances, the third woman who lives there. They look similar hair.
Yeah, one's got slightly longer hair. One is younger, I guess.
Yes.
They kept referring to the older one. She kept referring to herself as being old, but she isn't old. I mean...
She's probably, like 30?
Yeah.
Something.
Who's this one?
This one is Frances.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And this one's Anita.
Right. And then the middle one is the one who...
Maria.
Okay.
I just met a girl named Maria.
And
a girl named Frances. Oh. And a girl named Anita.
Did they throw coins at you?
No, but they did kill my brother, which was interesting. A girl like that, she'd kill your brother. Okay, so on their way to work, they make a quick stop because Maria's new in town. So they're like, you know what we should do? We should go to the fountain. They go to the Fountain of Trevi, also known as Trevi Fountain, which is filled with sculptures and is a beautiful place to hang out in this little square area in the downtown of Rome. And they talk about, you throw a coin in this fountain, you make a wish, and that wish will come true as long as your wish is, I want to come back to Rome.
Right.
And then she tries to throw the coin in, and they're like, no. You got to throw it over your shoulder. Over your shoulder. Don't look at it and make your wish. And so they do that. And guys, we've got a title to our movie, except it's only 2 coins in the fountain because Anita is about to hit the bricks. She's like, I'm going back to the U.S., I'm going to be married, and I'm out of here. I don't want to do this anymore for some reason. Actually, I do know the reason. I watched this movie, the whole thing.
We find out.
We do find out, yes.
She doesn't say why.
She does.
Okay,
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's basically, there's no reason to sit on this. It's not a secret to be revealed, and now we find out the dark truth. It's because she wants to fall in love.
Oh, yeah.
And Rome is not a great place to fall in love.
Because there's no fraternization within the office. And
yes. There's class issues too.
Most Italians are poor and the rich ones are not going to be interested in secretaries. So that's basically the reasoning. So basically she can't find a man.
Which I think is a very limited way to look at your choices. Can they just not go out and meet men?
Well,
yeah, but basically meeting
at
men.
This era, I think
it's marriage. Mm. Meeting a man equals marriage,
right?
Well, and
also not working.
Yeah, I guess
so.
That's
it's the prospect of the man.
You need someone who will take care of you, so that's financially.
So
stable.
they can't go for the poor guys.
Yeah,
the guys who are probably in their bracket will be at work, and no fraternization.
And the wealthy ones don't take a secretary.
They wouldn't be interested. Yeah, exactly. They wouldn't be interested in poor secretarial girls. No
but they
how
do
pretty they are.
Yet again, it should not be a surprise that they talk about being loved by a man as the most sacred, incredible thing that could ever happen to a person.
Out of all of the ones we've seen, I felt like these girls were about themselves a bit more.
They weren't in some kitchen. They weren't stuck with babies. They weren't.
Sure, they want to fall in love and get married, but
but they're living their lives.
Who doesn't want to have a relationship and do whatever?
Right.
I didn't feel this was as terrible.
I agree. Actually, this is a this is a very unoffensive movie. I think.
Yes.
Inoffensive. Inoffensive.
That's exactly the word
I
had in my head.
I do agree that I think that these women are more independent and out there living their lives. I think the judgment we see in other movies is oftentimes coming from the other female characters, you should be doing this. Obviously lines written by a man, but coming out of the mouths of female characters.
Yeah, so that's what we have happening here. And we follow these girls, these women, to their job at the USDA, where they fill milk bottles with milk all day long. No. Where they sit at this massive desk. So massive, in fact, I mean, it takes two of them to run this desk. And actually, they get their own individual ashtrays. Take a look at that. One there and one there. So many phones.
2 phones, 2 ashtrays.
3 phones. At least 1, 2, 3. Probably some over here, too. Would not surprise me. Anyway, this is they work for a man named Mr. Burgoyne, who we meet him, and he's a typical kind of like doughy, middle-aged white American man. He's who the guy we talk about when we talk about the things that we talk about on this program, Mr. Burgoyne. Now he's a nice-ish man. In appearance.
Yeah,
I mean, he's polite to them, right? Like, but he crosses a line. Don't get me wrong. He's crossing all the lines.
Yeah, he's out of all of the guys in this, he's the creep.
And yes, so
the judgmental creep.
Very much
and
so.
And his wife, actually, very judgy.
Both of them need a hobby. Like, they're just...
And take care of my girls. What?
Oh, boy. That's a drop, by the way. I have that one marked down.
It's only that my interest in my girls here transcends official obligation.
Hey everybody, mid-roll Jay-Z breaking in here as I will do to tell you about the incredible products available to you from Old Movie Time Machine. Now, we've got the old TeePublic store, of course, always up, always running, always pressing out incredible prints and coffee mugs and pillowcases and whatever you need, whatever kind of housewares you need. We've got them there. So TeePublic, check that out. Also, let's do some light counting right now. 1, 2, and that's it. We're done counting. It's $2 for you to join our Patreon page. We call it the Boom Room. The link is in the show notes, so go read about this episode you're listening to right now, and then click on that link and it'll take you right there where you're going to get ad-free. I mean, what's happening right now would never happen on the Patreon. Ad-free content, double it. Take that content and double it. That's right. Each of these episodes that you get on the free feed here, they're actually like twice as long. We talked about every aspect of every movie that we've covered so far, and we would love for you to hear all of it. So please join us, $2 a month. Go to the Patreon. The link is in the show notes. And if you do, I'm going to thank you so much. Just like I will right now. Little taste for you. Thank you. And now back to the show. Anyway, so this truck goes into town and they get held up by an accident that has happened with a bus and some other truck or something like that. And they jump out and they stop, pull this old Jeep to a stop somehow and get kind of like shooed around the accident by a traffic cop. But while they've paused, they get spotted by the Burgoynes. Mr. Burgoyne, the old boss, and his wife, Mrs. Burgoyne.
Sour-faced wife.
She is a bit of a sourpuss, isn't she? Yeah. She's
she can't imagine how these young women can be having fun and living their life.
You think there's a little...
jealousy.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean, well,
or is it just like a different value system?
Maybe it's a different value. I don't know if she was specifically giving that, but that's how I read it. Like, she's kind of like hating on them.
Yeah. Yes. I could see there being some envy there. Again, like it's already been laid out. These are 3 single women living their lives, doing whatever they want to do for the most part, except dating the locals, which they're also doing anyway, apparently. Or so it would seem.
They want to do.
Yeah.
This is what the Burgoynes see is like, now, wait a minute. Now, Mrs. Burgoyne is very up on the staffing at the USDA because she's like, now, isn't that your translator? And isn't that Anita? This is one of your secretaries, right? And again, in a modern parlance, we would say admin, executive assistant, something like that. Secretary is probably seen as demeaning these days, but that's what they're called here. We're calling them secretaries. So
because they all got invited to the cocktail party.
Yeah, yes.
And the Maria.
Yes.
The fresh one.
Mm-hmm.
They were all specifically invited along so that the wife could meet the new secretary.
Oh, is that right? Okay,
Yes.
that slipped past me. Okay.
Yep.
So soon after this, though, the prince telephones for Maria, asking her if she wants to go to Venice. Uh-oh, you guys, we already know what this is code for.
It's like, I can't be
Venice
a Venice
girls,
girl.
hey-yo.
Venice
Maybe
bonk.
I can.
And she's... Fountain of Boink featuring Venice Bonk. In stores Tuesday. So she turns to Francis and is like, what do I do? The prince wants to make me one of his Venice girls, and I kind of want him to. And Francis is like, just tell him no. She's like, okay, but I mean, I really like this prince. And she's like, you know what? Actually, hold that. Tell him yes. Which I, as the audience, was like, this is surprising from what I know of you, Francis. What's your game? Because you were warning off about the Venice girl label and all this. So what's happening? And it turns out that everybody knows that the prince shows up for his Venice girls and then he flies them to Venice. That's the magic. That's how he seals the deal. It's like, I have a aeroplane, how you say aeroplane, and I fly it, and I'll take you there, and you'll fall in love with me. Is that pretty
good point?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I'm
right,
not
right.
sure that the falling
Let
in
me
love is
throw
quite thing, but
we throw these coins into the fountain of boink.
Venetian boinking is more the point.
Venetian. I thought it was Venetian bonk. Excuse me.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So.
Past tense is Venetian.
Oh, okay. I've never conjugated boink before, so this is good to know. I'll make a note of it. So.
Bonked. Boinked.
It turns out that Francis. Bonk.
Boinker is the one who does the boink.
Yeah.
Boinky.
I ain't no boinker. I'm a boinky.
I was
boink.
a bonker.
To have boinked.
I was a bonky.
to make boink. To bonk.
One bonks.
Yeah.
We all boink.
Slip into this pair of bonks.
Dabba-dabba-doo, boinky, boinky, boo.
3 bonks and a boinking. Yeah, 3 bonks and a boinking.
Oh my.
Okay.
You wish,
It's
Princey.
like 4 weddings and a funeral.
Yeah, 3 bonks and a boinking. So it turns out that Francis just wants to hitch a ride to Venice in the airplane. And so the prince shows up, and these two really work him pretty good. He's like, okay, come into my car and I will fly you to Venice. Well, would you mind if Francis comes too? My plane is very small, you see, so this would be very complicated. Well, okay, Francis is just like, I will take the train then, not a big deal. And Maria's like, well, I'm not going to let you go take the train by yourself. So here's the deal. I'm going to go take the train with her. We'll meet you when we get to Venice. Enjoy flying by yourself. And he's like, well, all right, I guess everybody, all aboard then. You come, it's almost French.
It's
Because
we're going to call this
European?
continental is what I'm doing right now. Is so that we could be in Spain. We could be in.
It's European exotic to the American audience.
Yes, exactly. If I told you I was from Prague, you would be like, oh, oui, of course.
I think you gotta get a little bit more aggressive for Prague. I don't know.
Yeah, no, you do. It's much more guttural.
You don't find me to be terribly, how you say, bohemia right now?
The only thing you're doing is confusing.
I would like the leg of the stag, please.
Right.
In a red wine sauce. Except I never drink wine. See, Transylvanian, right?
Now suddenly you're Romanian.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, you modulate it. You can go all over the place with that.
Traveling.
That's how I've made my way through the world. I work anytime I'm out of the country I live in. That's how I speak. But Giorgio and Anita get to spend some quality time together. They do some kind of, they do small talk, and then he's like, yeah, it's very beautiful out here, and let me tell you about Rome, and he wants to be a lawyer. This is where we find out he wants to be a lawyer. He too, when he was a young man, went to the Fountain of Trevi and threw the coin in, and his wish was, I want to come back to Rome, but as a lawyer, and that's what he would like to do. And then he's like, hey, see that river down there? And she's like, that looks nice. He's like, yep, let's go to the truck. That doesn't work, and I will drive you down to it. And as this happens, she hops in the truck, immediately releases whatever braking mechanism is in place there, and it just jumps.
It was a log.
Oh, it wasn't? Okay.
That was it. It was the log in front. But I mean, you know, when they came down the hill and they basically stopped it on the hill and, you know, wedged it with the log, I was like, why on earth would you leave it at that angle?
Yeah, it's interesting.
But then that was clearly to set up this next shot.
Yes.
Where she goes racing off
just real quick,
uncontrollably.
A little bit of trivia for you. That log could also possibly be called, in Italian, a Zeppa. Because Zeppa means chalk of
a wedge.
Wood. Yeah, a wedge. So
you could actually be called Wedgie.
Catherine, I'm cutting that out of this program. We are not getting that started.
Okay. I think maybe not in the world, but I think in this room,
you can have
Wedgie is now.
That will not be going onto the internet, though. They do not need to know about it because that will be the end of me.
Well, not being funny, I've just made that leap. It's not going to be a big leap for anybody else in the, you know, if that whole piece.
They can come say it to my face.
Yeah, I think maybe they will.
Tom will DM you.
Maybe we cut all of this out. No, but it means chalk of wood, and so if you Google Translate my email,
there's too many
Justin
things
Wedge.
now occurring to me.
There's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can, I mean, have a ball, write them down, save them for next time as they come to you.
Yeah.
I'll give you the space to share.
Yeah.
To bring me down.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anyway, so Anita hops into this truck and it goes crazy. And she ends up barreling down this narrow country lane that winds its way through the Italian mountains. And Giorgio is like chasing after her because he's been cast off aside. And she ends up crashing the truck kind of. And he races up to her and embraces her. And he's just like, he's so glad that she's still alive.
I mean, I'm glad she was still alive.
Well, yeah. I mean, that would be a stupid way to die.
It was a big car crash. But, you know, it definitely, I think, life and death moment pushes her into the arms of Giorgio.
Right.
Well, this is the thing, is that they both stop fucking around and they embrace and smooch. And they are in love.
They acknowledge what was already there, that they were trying to keep under wraps.
3 bunks in a boinking.
Boink one.
Boink on a hillside.
First boinking, yes. Boink prime, we call it. So.
The hills are alive with boinking.
Sound of boinking. And meanwhile, Francis and Maria go to a museum where the prince is donating some paintings. So we're back from Venice, of course, and the prince is just like priority one for our fresh Maria. And she starts running like a long con on him, basically.
She does.
She starts going to places that he goes to, starts gathering the data, starts taking notes. She's got a little black book filled with notes about things he likes and doesn't like.
This is stalking.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do
Is it?
Let's do a gender reversal. How comfortable would you be if the person who was in love with you was like, oh yeah, and I've been following you around and keeping notes on all the things that you do, just so I can.
It's creepy, I think. I mean, it could also be taken as, oh, this person's taking a real interest in me, which could be flattering if it was done in a bit more of an open manner, but.
If you ask me what kind of wine I like, instead of going to the restaurant I go to and asking the guy who gives me the wine.
And then pretending that you like it?
The pretending. I feel like that's...
It's the pretending part. To like all the same things. And also, isn't variety the spice of life? I mean, I wouldn't want to date myself. I'm a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I think, this is ultimately the con does work. It is successful because his mind is blown every time she shows up and she's like, oh yeah, and by the way, I got us tickets to your favorite opera because I fucking love it too. And he's like, but this is amazing. Continental Man. Exotic.
Yeah, I feel like he's pretty much in love with himself. So to find a woman who matches everything, it just kind of echoes and mirrors his own narcissism, I think.
What?
And and also it gives him an easy life. He hasn't got to fight anything or educate he thinks she's educated and cultured and into the same things. So hey, this is easy peasy. I don't have to make any efforts because we all like the same things.
Mm-hmm. What is the manifestation of his narcissism that do you find? I mean, I see him, he's a Richie Rich, right? And he's a man of leisure because of that. And he likes to date women. I don't find him an awful person though. Do you? Was there something that stuck out to you?
I think it was literally just her mirroring pleased him so much.
Yeah, that's true. This is unbelievable. I cannot believe that you also like food. I love food. I adore food.
Because the piccolo, you play the piccolo, like mental, like
the piccolo. Bit.
Surely you would be asking questions at that point. But I think it was at that point it tipped him into taking her to meet his mother.
Yeah,
it's like, this is the woman I'm going to marry because she also plays the piccolo.
That's right.
Unless that's a euphemism.
You wouldn't.
Yeah.
For point number 2.
It is Italy.
Well,
Solon likes it. He stood up. Absolutely. He's like, hello, hey.
Partial boink.
3 boinks and a piccolo.
You play the piccolo so well. Anyway.
All this happens after they meet up at this museum where Frances pulls up. This is, I just want to highlight this point, and maybe a picture of it. I can't remember. Yeah. So we see this blue car pulling up to all kinds of famous landmarks in Rome. And when this car parks right next to the prince's vehicle here, she definitely smashes that front bumper right into this cement step here. You can hear it. Oh, you can hear it. And I cringe. Anyway, Frances is coaching young Maria to, just say this. You like neo-impressionism. You like, just say the word infinity somewhere in your chats. And all of this works. And she's such a goddamn liar. She's like, I'm half Italian at some point.
Right.
And then 3/4 Italian at another point.
Irish. Yeah, right.
Yeah, so then she does her fucking intel recon. Food, wine, opera. She takes him to the Barber of Seville. They're drinking the wine and eating the food that he likes. And then he asks her to meet Mom, which we've already been instructed was like, when they're ready for you to meet the mom, this is when love is truly blooming. That's when you got him right on the hook and you can get married, which is what we're all looking for.
It's halfway to the altar or something.
Yes. And she is into it. She loves this idea. And so she then does this piccolo routine because the prince is known to play the piccolo. So she sets it up to one of these scenes where it's like he's going to walk in and I'll be listening to one of the all-time great piccolo concertos. And I'll be holding my piccolo and like I'm practicing along. And he'll just be blown away, which he is. He's like, this is ridiculous. Nobody plays the piccolo. I've been playing the piccolo for years. Nobody plays this thing. You're playing the piccolo, and we like the same wine, and you're going to my mom's house with me?
Yeah, he's an expert piccolo player.
Yeah.
And yeah.
All right.
And she's only just started.
Yes. She's new. Yeah.
I've never done this before.
Yeah. He'll guide her.
Teach her.
Don't worry about it. It's a particular fingering routine. Anyway, piccolo. Woodwinds, you guys. Anyway, we're at Mom's house. Mom also lived in a palace. If you live in Rome, you're living in a palace for the most part, unless you're Giorgio, an actual Roman.
Principessa.
That's right. And so she lives in a pink palace. That is, this goes beyond. This is just old world filigree and glamour. This has nothing to do with mid-century modern, mid-century grandma. All of that is out the window. We're in Europe, people. This is not what we're accustomed to.
And she's the same mama as was in An Affair to Remember. No, grandmother. She played the grandmother.
Is that right?
Yeah,
really?
Same woman. Yeah.
I gotta watch this movie, you guys. An Affair to Remember. I gotta check this thing out. I hear big things about it. I mean, our show about it was intrigued. I was in color me intrigued. I would like to see An Affair to Remember. For all of this old world gilded thrones and satiny, uncomfortable, large bench seats and massive 20-foot bookcases, we still have glass ashtray right there. Mom's got a smoke, you know. We're all smoking, especially in Rome in the 50s. We're definitely smoking then. At this point, an hour 15 minutes into the movie, things really start percolating. The movie really starts to take off just as it's about to shut down. And so on the way back from Mom's palace, we stop outside of the Colosseum, and the prince is basically about to tell Maria that he's in love with her, and we should be married, and I want to be with you, and I will fly you all over the place. I will fly you to Venice.
And we can play the piccolo
from
together.
Venice to Rome, and then from Rome to Sardinia, and then from Sardinia back to Venice, and then to Milano, and then to Pisa, and all that. You know, he's just flying around Italy. He's got a plane. Prince has a plane. Prince plane. And she stops him mid romance to be like, look, I have to tell you something. Everything that's happened the past few days, this enjoyable time, our chemistry, it's all a lie. I've made it up. I stalked you. I took notes on you. I made a bunch of shit up. It's all the things that seemed to you to be delightful coincidence and a sign of budding romance are all just my evil machinations. And now I'm feeling some guilt about it because we brought it upon your poor elderly mother, and now you're going to ask me to marry you, and you should just know that I'm a full-time liar. She just puts it out there.
And they never revisit this, and then he just shows up at the fountain in the end. And I'm like, how are we?
Well, yeah, he got persuaded, didn't he? Mr. What was that?
Shadwell. He does have a chat later, but
yeah, that's a bit.
Yeah. And I even forget how this scene ends. Is he just like...
He says nothing and just drives off.
Yeah, okay. Because then the next note is back at Villa Eden. So, I mean, this is, again, we're seeing a lot of transitory scenes just building a movie, things to get you from point A to point B. Leave out the points,
Walking
just the middle
from
bits.
Here
yeah,
to
exactly,
there.
right.
He was boink blocked.
He was...
For the second time.
Bonk blocked.
You
like boink better than bonk?
Venetian boink block.
So
check out our new show.
So we're one of two.
Boink block.
We're one of two right now.
Yeah. He is down 2 of 2.
So this is boink number 1 or 2?
This is 2.
This is 2.
Oh, yeah, but this
Giorgio's
is
boink prime.
His second attempt.
Okay, yeah, okay. But this is his second boink. This particular. So boink 2.2.
Right. Yeah.
Because the Venetian boink got blocked.
Right.
And then this boink, marriage proposal boink got blocked.
Yes. Right. Oh, man, he has been so boink blocked.
Yeah.
He's better be careful. He's going to be sore. Be careful.
Thwarted.
Yeah.
I mean, he's probably never been thwarted in his life before.
This is like the worst week of my life.
Concerned.
This has never happened to me before.
Boinking has usually been so easy.
Might be feeling a bit blue.
People come from miles around to boink with me. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
What is her deal? Maria, tell me.
Why won't you
This is
boink?
it, that the fresh meat doesn't normally play the bag, you know? It's like...
What is this? Is pushback? I'm a prince over here. I've got an airplane. I'm a prince with a plane.
Yeah, with the prime boinking. I give you all the boinking.
My boinks are known to be the finest boinks in all of the Tiber.
But to be fair, she isn't going to be played. She knows what. Yeah,
but she came clean. I think you have to give her credit for that.
I think definitely.
She said, "Okay, I see that this might be going too far."
Okay, yeah. I'm not going to take this all the way through and marry you and get your gazillions.
She's very close, though. I mean, she's one step from the dress. Okay, you're in the princess position in this scene. You just found out that your entire life is a lie. The last week, anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you do?
Well,
you take
she
her
told
back?
the truth. So
she did tell the truth
after a bunch of lies.
But she realized her mistake. I think everyone.
Well, then it's like, okay, how much she loved him. how much he's clearly feeling for her, the fact that
I think we're
the mother was involved, and how big it got big. It wasn't just her fucking with him. It got big.
She didn't marry him and then tell him the truth.
Yes.
She told it to him before any commitments
that's
were
the cutoff?
made.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
People do things in situations.
Yeah,
They're allowed to
exactly.
apologize.
But she was fucking. She knew. Not being funny. Like he is out for fresh meat. He's trying to boink the fresh meat, right? And she's not defenseless, so she plays that game right. She hits those the balls
she wants
back.
She wants the princess life, so she.
Well, I don't know that was even really. I don't know. It kind of was,
but
but she wasn't. She wasn't just gonna get boinked and dropped.
No, I think she was trying to.
You want to boink this? You respect this?
No, I think it. I don't know if it was respect this. I think he was trying to get some. She was trying to get his money, and she made up a story to get it.
I don't know.
And then she felt bad that. Well, she was excited that he was a prince.
Yeah,
that was the only reason why she was excited about this whole situation.
But I think she genuinely liked him. I think the truth came out because she genuinely liked him.
Yeah, yeah.
It's I'm not just going to go through with this because I'm a ruthless.
No, she's not actually a con artist.
No,
yeah, that was
a
little bit.
But yeah.
Artistic.
Well, you have to remember she was also coached a little bit by
Frances. Really,
Frances over there.
She's
playing the long con over there with Boink.
Oh my God! Can we get there? Let's get to it.
There's no con there.
That is poor writing, is what that is. Because here's the deal. So Maria comes clean with the prince, and he's like, "Wow, I don't know what to make of this." And then we go back to Shadwell's house,
right?
And here she is, portrait of a secretary, hard at work at Rome. She's got her smart lady glasses on. It's a great look. And Mr. Shadwell comes in. Oh, no. Okay, sorry.
No, so she gets given
I got it. Yep. So Shadwell's housekeeper comes in and brings her a little white kitten. And is like, hey, this, our cat, my friend's cat had kittens, and I just thought you would want to have one of these. And that
because
my friend
old maid
exactly she talks to her cats all day long, and so this is where Frances is like, oh, people think I'm gonna end up a cat lady. Catherine, there's no shame in being a cat lady.
Mm-hmm.
So long.
Sure about
I'm a
this.
dog lady.
There's no shame in being a cat for a cat lady. He's checked out. He's like, I don't care. He's enjoying his life. Yeah, I'm talking about you. Yeah. Oh, he looked up. But Frances sees this as, well, I don't think this is what I want for myself. She has this realization, and she tells Shadwell that she wants to go back to the U.S. So at this point, everybody's going back to the U.S., it seems like. So Maria's like, sorry, Prince, I'm a liar, but I love you. But also, I'm just going to go back to the U.S. Anita's going back to the U.S. because things with Giorgio are on the back burner. And he is unemployed and cannot support their love. And Frances is like, yeah, it's been 15 years. I've been here. I think it's time. I think it's time for me to go back. And Shadwell can't fucking believe it. He's like, are you kidding me? Like, all you do is live in Rome.
He's like, you're like a piece of the furniture.
Well, he's a terrible man, like Mr. Shadwell. For as decent a thing as he ends up doing at the end here, he is, by and large, and maybe it's just the performance, the actor himself, but he's a very unappealing kind of sleazy guy. Or he just oozes that. He's not actually sleazy. He doesn't want to leave the house. But he's, I don't know, something about it's the voice, maybe?
Yeah, he's just cold. He's an intellectual. He's cold. He's not emotional. This woman has been with him for 15 years. Clearly everybody else can see, the whole of Rome knows she's in love with him. But he doesn't see that.
Yes, and they talk about this, about how everybody knows, but we haven't talked about it in the movie. Like me, the audience member, I don't know that there's any chemistry between them. Did you guys pick up on that?
No.
I was stunned when this happened. I was like, really? These two? At this point, Shadwell, he's having some kind of personal revelations, and he goes to see the prince, and he tells them that he's moving for Frances. And he also tells him that Maria's scheme might be considered flattering. Yeah, it's kind of creepy, but also she's putting the effort in. She's putting a lot of energy into you, dude. And also she's leaving, so, he should be aware of that. And then Shadwell goes to the Burgoyne's house too. And then, boy, we are racing to the finish of this film. Frances calls Maria and Anita to meet at the fountain again, the titular Trevi fountain. But they discover that it's empty of water for cleaning. And so dreams, it turns out, do not come true. End of movie. No. Actually, Frances shows up and then the fountain starts emitting water again. It's almost enchanted, magical. And then just as magical a way, all of the men show up and they all start smooching by the Fountain of Trevi. And that's the end of 3 coins in the fountain.
And the boinks are complete.
3 bonks in a boinking.
Yes.
There it is.
3 bonks in a fountain.
It's been quite a journey for us here in Rome. Let's do the business and then cast this aside forever. No. I don't want to influence anybody, but Katherine Sherlock. This movie that we just watched, 1954, 3 coins in the fountain, featuring Frances, Anita, Maria. We keep watching this thing?
Neutral. I mean, it's definitely not a no. I thought it was very inoffensive. And it's nice pictures of Italy and stuff.
Yeah.
So, why not? It's a harmless thing, Sunday afternoon watching, perhaps.
You're really selling it.
Would I watch this again? If it came on the telly and there was nothing else to do, I would happily sit down and probably watch it again. But I probably wouldn't choose to seek it out.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Okay. So it's a yes. You're giving it a pass.
Yeah, it's a lukewarm yes.
Okay. Shrishma Naik.
Yes.
3 coins in the fountain. 3 boinks in the bonkin. Do we keep watching this?
I feel mine is a lukewarm no.
Okay. So you're kind of maybe in the same segment, but just on the other end of it, right? Okay.
Because
it's not a hard no.
It wasn't a bad movie. It just wasn't a movie that...
It's not a good movie either.
It's not a good movie.
Yeah.
And, Catherine's right. It's not like it was offensive. There was some ideas. They weren't pushing it too much. But it was a little boring for me.
Yeah. I got you. It's fair. Okay. We got a yes. We got a no. Carolyn Naoroz. You keep watching this thing or what?
No.
Oh, it's a no from you, huh? Okay. Yeah. Any particular...
I mean, I like all the footage of Italy, but...
Yeah, I don't know that justifies...
No, it doesn't justify keeping it for me, which is... if I'm going to watch something with footage of Rome, I'd rather watch Rome and Holiday.
Oh, great point. Great point. Yeah. And this, again, not unlike what we did last week with In the Cool of the Day and it's nice to see Delphi and the Acropolis and all this, but probably this was done better in a different movie. That's the case here. You're absolutely right. Rome and Holiday is the one to go to. It's the better all-around movie, better cast, better story, better script, all of it. It just happens to be in black and white, which makes it, a challenge for a modern audience, but otherwise it's a crackerjack film. This one is got 3 times the female leads, but actually takes away from everything somehow. And yes, while I love the footage,
I don't think any of them have star power.
Yeah, that's the thing is that it's a very low charisma film, I feel like.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of energy here because even if we go back to the Funny Face episode, we're not crazy about that movie, if only because there's 35 minutes of song and dance, but we love the footage of Paris. We love Big Fred Astaire. We love what's her face, Maggie, the magazine editor. Yes, and we love fucking Audrey, magical Audrey in her prime, dancing around in that black catsuit. Those are all things that kind of saved it. This is a similar thing, but without the magic of the people involved, the chemistry. Right. So I think it's a no from me. So it's a 1-3 card. Okay, interesting. And that's it, you guys. That's 3 coins in the fountain. Wrap it up. Ship it off to oblivion. Woo. Fuck it. No applause. We're done. We're done with this. But Catherine, I do agree. Like if I turned on the television and this was on, I would stop. I'd linger with it for a little while. And if I didn't have much on for the day, I'd probably just sit there. Probably just watch it. I mean, worst looking movies out there. We've watched them.
Exactly.
Yeah, so
There's been some horrors. So this was actually okay.
It's surprisingly, again, inoffensive. Exactly. That's the key word here. Now, let's talk about next week because we have to wrap up our month of romance. I'm sorry, you guys. It's been a very romantic time with you. We've all gone to Europe together. We've all fallen in love, and it's been a delight. But let's talk about next week. We have one last sexy adventure to get to. Ooh. I just threw sexy in there. I can't back that up. I haven't watched this movie. Okay, the year 1961. Mm-hmm. The movie is called Come September. And the synopsis is younger generation versus quote unquote older folks on vacation at an Italian villa. So we are staying in Italy. Maybe this is the one that we want to keep. If we want to do within the parameters of what we do on the show, Roman holiday aside, maybe Come September is our Italy movie that we want to watch. We're going to find out. And it stars, directed by Robert Mulligan, stars, there he is, the rocker, Rock Hudson.
Oh, he's back.
Gina Lollobrigida, hello, all right. You're going to find out. And Sandra Dee as well. We've seen Sandra Dee. She was in, what's it called? The Bobby Darin, the one we hate, Long Eyeballs. What the fuck is that called?
Long Eyeballs?
Not the best of everything.
I've probably just squeeged.
I have the list in my hand. Just look at it. As soon as I say the name, a chill's gonna run up your spine. That funny feeling. That's what it is. Long Eyeballs.
Joan is my maid.
And so that's next week, you guys. Come September. Thank you so much for listening, as ever. Oh, sure, okay. For us, right? Not for the movie. Yeah, exactly. Okay, sure. All right, I'm on board with that. Great. We did great. You were all wonderful. Catherine, it's great to have you back. Solon would love to hear more from you, from your little cat mouth next time.
He's sleepy.
But he is a sleepy boy. And he's got to give himself a little bath, too. Okay, that's it for us for now. So, Carolyn, thanks so much for joining. Shrishma, thanks so much for joining. Catherine, thanks so much for joining. And now I'm going to throw it to myself. In the future, take it away, Self.
Wedgie.
Thank you very much, Self. And no thanks to you, Shrishma Naik. I heard that. Another great episode, you guys. I think we can all agree. And if you disagree, please let us know. Party line at oldmovietimemachine.com. We would love to hear from you. As mentioned, next week, it is 1961's Come September. Now look, this is available. It's out there. You're going to have to get a little creative to find it, though, apparently. So that's all I will ask of you. I don't have a list of places where you can watch this thing, but it's Rock Hudson and Gina Lollobrigida. Who would miss it? So please check out Come September, and then join us here next Wednesday when that episode drops. And until next time, please never forget that this has been Old Movie Time Machine.